Welcome back to The Bachelorette. I'm your host, Kaiser Wilhelm II.
Remember you belong to me.
And you are all in for a treat with this special season. Our contestants were all participants of the war. They are our Iron Youth. Because of this selection of contestants, we have called this season The Bachelorette in War. Our Bachelorette has eliminated many candidates and is now down to her last two men. She must choose between the two based upon her feelings towards the stance on their experiences in the war. On that note, here's a quick recap of our last week's episode in case you missed it. You know, I just feel a connection between us. I feel like you know how I really feel. I feel like you accept me even though I'm a bit closed off at times. I feel like you don't think I'm honorable just because I was in the war, but because you love my personality and see me for who I really am. Oh, darling, I feel...
So what did I miss?
Hey, girl. You know, I was just going out to a field of poppies and contemplate the fact that everyone may die in the war, but we still need to honor our nation. Want to join?
Actually, I'm talking to Paul right now, but I might join you later.
Get out of here, McCrae, and take your nationalistic ideas with you. This is my time.
Well, at least I stand up for my nation, unlike you with the ridiculous ideas. We can never be friends with the enemy, but you still say to them, "Forgive me, comrade, how could you be my enemy? If we threw away these rifles and this uniform, you could be my brother." Please, we were in war, not summer camp. We fought for our nation, not for others.
That mentality is ridiculous. First of all, what's wrong with seeing each other as men, not as enemies? Second of all, that nationalistic idea is exactly how we got into the position of sending 41 million men to be slaughtered, to die in the mud, to die and never be found, to die and devastate their families.
Okay, well, let's get back to our conversation. Bye, McCrae.
I'll do the show, but I don't believe in what it's promoting, and I'm not happy about it. Just like I was in the war. I believe the ministers and generals of the two countries, armed with clubs, can have it out against themselves.
You said that like 1,000 times. Is that all you believe about this war?
At this point, I don't even care if I have any other thoughts. The war took my life from me. I just concede to whatever I'm told because that is what I was taught to do.
I'm never satisfied.
The leaders have no idea what it's like to fight. No idea what it's like watching millions destroyed, slaughtered, and murdered. Both sides of the pain are just people that crave the same thing. Life.
Well, Kat, it seems like you're lost, like a person in the dark, and I don't think that our relationship will help you find your way.
So you've saved Cantrek. Now, who would you like your last puppy to go to?
Paul, will you take this puppy?
Of course.
I'm sorry, Kat and John, but you've been eliminated.
Well, that's unfortunate. You've given her so much. Be careful how much you're willing to give.
To you, from falling hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high.
Well, after that dramatic closing of last week's episode, how about we catch up on what the Bachelorette and her last two contestants are up to? Okay. So how are you?
I'm still not happy with you because you killed Grandpa Franz and you stole our Italian pasta recipe. That pasta was meant to be in my restaurant, not yours. We even made it more delicious. Sorry about the wait, guys. I'll bring you to your table right now.
Okay, great.
Oh, and sorry for the fight out there. Our two restaurants, the Triple Entente and the Triple Alliance, have been in a battle for a very long time. We went to drastic measures to protect our restaurants, and it got a little ugly while we did so. All right, here's your table.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do you think I should get the German pretzel, the Austrian Hungary bread, the limited time only Italian pasta, or the Ottoman Empire stew on the secret menu?
Well, remember the Italian pasta? They said the other restaurant stole the recipe, so they may not serve it anymore. I heard the German pretzel, though, is to die for.
Maybe I should get that.
What can I get you guys tonight?
I'll have the German pretzel. I think I'll have the same thing too.
So, Paul, how has life been treating you after the war?
Well, I recently got a new job as a route inspector, but it's been a little lonely and a bit dark.
I don't want to hear just about your job, though, Paul. How have you been after your experience fighting?
I'm great. Now, how's the...
Paul, I understand that you were inexperienced, that you think no one understands except for those who are with you. But Paul, they aren't here to listen, but I am. I'm with you.
Oh, do you really want to know? I'll tell you. It's not a social gathering out there with friends that you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. It's life or death. And most of those friends are gonna die right in front of you. I've seen friends slowly drift off peacefully, and I've seen those who are screaming bundles of intolerable pain. I've seen too many ways people can die, from gas to shells. The worst thing that occurs to us out there is not witnessing the deaths, but the feelings that encompass them, or at least the lack thereof. Feelings seem to disappear, fade, vanish once you've seen death enough. We are indifferent to the fact of death. We kill others for no reason but the fact that they're from a different country, even though any non-commissioned officer is more of an enemy to a recruit, any schoolmaster to a pupil, than they are to us. So, how do I feel? I feel angry that an entire generation was lost for a war that didn't even benefit us.
You fought for your country, though. Isn't that something to be proud of?
You can't gain honor in a war when you have to kill those whose lives are obscure and guiltless with weapons that create destruction so easily in order to supposedly create peace. The life we led in the war was one that was based on being human animals.
Ooh, look, this looks delicious. Let us eat, Paul.
I really don't like this restaurant. Look at this menu. French soup, English crumpets, Russian batva, the new Italian pasta. Where's the German pretzel?
That's at the Triple Alliance restaurant across the street.
That's the most unfortunate thing I've ever heard. I guess I'll just take a water. Let's get this day started.
So, Kendrick, I was speaking to Paul earlier about how he felt towards the war. I was wondering what your thoughts were.
It would bring me so much joy to let you know about the glorious war that I and many of my pupils were involved in, by suggestion from me.
Great.
I obviously believe that the man doesn't make the war makes the man. The war created some of the most honorable and strong men in the country. The war was so amazing. I used to ask my students, "Won't you join up, comrades?" Because I really felt that they would serve their country right and themselves.
I know that greatness lies in you.
Once my students joined, I was ecstatic and even joined myself later in the years in order to honor my country. Oh, I love my country. This war that it joined was one of the greatest experiences I and so many others participated in.
Sounds like you really love the war.
That war, that glorious, beautiful war.
Kendrick, I just want to know why you're such a terror of Klausenberg.
Cause baby, now we got bad blood.
I'm not a terror, I'm an influential being.
Oh, true. You've influenced so many men. You've influenced so many men to go out and die for a cause that they don't even believe in.
This cause is a way for men to go out on a battlefield in which they would march over the muddy ground in strides of confidence and know what and know that they will not back down to enemies in the smoke of guns and gas because their country depends upon them. Though they have passed away, they allow for their country to thrive.
But they didn't thrive. Their lives were forfeited, and even those who came back were lost in a world that they didn't fit into since they were morphed into a soldier and nothing else. Everyone went through terrible events out there in the front. The front didn't allow soldiers to identify with honor, but instead, fear and terror. Every day we woke up in mud with the constant beating of gunfire and shelling that's meant to kill us. And all we can do is look at each other's young faces and think that most of us aren't even going to live past 20. Most of us were going to die with so many years that weren't fulfilled. We were all slowly being destroyed by technology that none of us understood, and tactics that were allowing other people to slowly take us apart.
War demanded enormous sacrifices by the German people. We showed the enemy what it meant to attack Germany. You had a choice if you wanted to join the army anyways.
We had no choice. We would have been scorned if we denied to enter. We would have been laughed at in the street. We would have been harassed by you even more than we were originally.
I promote my country. I showed so many that they could also. I will not say sorry for that. It was war against all nations, and that meant all nations' men had to fight.
Hello everyone! You've witnessed one of the most dramatic, shocking, and exciting seasons yet, and we have reached the conclusion of Bachelorette and War. The Bachelorette is now faced with their toughest decision yet, choosing between Cantrick and Paul. So, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling very confident in my decision, and I'm ready to tell the world.
So, what will it be? Who are you ready to spend the rest of your life with?
I choose Paul.
Actually, you aren't allowed to choose Paul. You have to choose Cantrick. I thought that was evident in your contract. You have to choose the person that is for the war. We must always choose the war. The war requires our support in order to continue. People always wonder if the war is even worth fighting. Well, is there a reason for the Serbians to kill the Duke Franz Ferdinand of Austria? Of course. There are also reasons behind why agreements of ultimatums were rejected from the Austrians, why declarations of war waged, why Russia and Austria mobilized, why telegrams were being sent by the Tsar and Kaiser. There is a reason for this militarism of all the countries. All the leading up to the war was that inevitable, and we must support it because all of you are like pawns on a chessboard, and you must do the king's biddings.
I don't want to pick Cantoric. He supports a time of chaos and destructions, and I don't want there to be crosses row on row that mark the place of so many young men. I will not pick him. I don't agree with this destruction and sadness. Paul showed me the truth.
You have to pick Cantoric.
I choose Cantoric.
Well, I think you guys will be very happy together. Well, folks, this is the conclusion of our season, and I hope you come back next time.